So I think the Republicans wanted this shutdown. The President of the United States just put this out on Truth Social. It says, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democratic agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. And there are so many things to unpack here, but I think the most primary is that our president is a bold-faced liar. We spent the entire presidential election season having him and all of his supporters and all the talking heads insist that he had nothing to do with the wildly unpopular far-right Christian nationalist Project 2025. Here he is talking about it.
Some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. They are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
Project 2025, I've said 100 times, I know nothing about it. I had nothing to do.
Over and over again. So many of us tried to warn you that dismantling the American government was the plan. They wanted to burn a country of checks and balances and freedom to the ground and build it back to favor the rich, the white, the powerful. And we were just mocked mercilessly for it. Here's me on TV fighting about it.
Again, they're still pushing the lie about Project 2025. It doesn't matter how many times she says it. Donald Trump did not write it. He has disavowed it. This is not his agenda. He has his own campaign agenda. It is not Project 2025.
No, it's Agenda 47, which is exactly the same as Project 2025. And you can say that as many times as you want, Scott, but it's not true.
But these people lied directly to your faces. Because here we have the president telling us that Russell Vought, the head of the Congressional Budget Office, one of the many Project 2025 authors running executive departments right now, is actually the one making the calls as to which government departments will stay open. Our president is not in charge. He is a figurehead, a distraction, the entertainment, the court jester. You voted for Donald Trump? Well, you know what? You got Stephen Miller and Russell Vought. Now, tell me, what are Democratic agencies? Because Ted Cruz went on TV to say this.
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats force a shutdown, which they now have, that President Trump is going to use that as an opportunity not to tell people you're furloughed for a few days, but instead to send pink slips and to get rid of left-wing bureaucrats who are imposing left-wing priorities that are contrary to President Trump's priorities. I think that is fantastic, and what it's going to do is it's going to cause Democrats in Congress to scream and weep and gnash their teeth. I cannot wait for the next Democrat lunch when they start screaming at each other, when they start seeing pink slips go out at the EPA, at the Department of Labor, at the IRS, and suddenly the bureaucrats that they are entrusting to advance their job-killing agenda are themselves without a job.
So Ted mentions the Environmental Protection Agency, the Labor Relations Board, and the IRS. So to be clear, clean drinking water, clean air, and corporations not being allowed to poison you with cancer-causing chemicals, that's just for the stupid Dems. Republicans are here for profit only, which is why the Labor Relations Board is apparently a Dem agency. Oh my God. Treat workers with respect, let them collectively bargain, raise the minimum wage? Not on our watch. That's some radical left shit. Which is probably why the Republicans have voted against raising the minimum wage every single time Democrats have proposed it. Treating your workers with respect shouldn't be a Democratic principle. It should be an American principle. But here are all the Republicans, president on down, saying we don't need these woke agencies that look out for the workers, just like we don't need the IRS, the radical organization that makes everything the government does possible by collecting taxes. The organization that has been screaming for years how desperately underfunded they are, that we leave trillions of dollars in uncollected taxes on the table every year because the IRS doesn't have the manpower or the money to go after the biggest tax cheats in America, which, by the way, are the billionaires and the corporations. The very group getting more tax cuts from the big beautiful bill. When Biden was in office, he funded the IRS so we could afford to start going after the big dogs. But as soon as the Republicans came into power, they cut that funding. And now they're telling you they're going to cut that agency. And to be clear, it's not our taxes that won't be collected. We will still pay through the nose for services we are no longer getting, but it is the billionaires who are going to get away scot-free. Because somehow clean water and food and housing for children and the elderly and healthcare rights and workers' rights and education and science, these are all pathetic little things the left has forced on the country, and we'll just be better off without them. We're going to put trillions of dollars more into the American military and ICE so they can be used against us on our own streets. Remember that this is who Donald Trump works for. He told us as much before the election. This has nothing to do with the illegal immigrants. This has nothing to do with governing. This has nothing to do with the IRS or the EPA or any of the programs and jobs that have already been cut, from the Department of Education to Meals on Wheels and student lunches, Medicaid, cancer research, food testing, FEMA. Because apparently all of those things are radical liberal ideas. Because in Russell Vote's hands, America is not for us. It's for them. Everything is for them. And if you fight back, if you protest, if you say, listen, I don't agree, that now makes you an enemy from within. This shutdown was the plan. Because in a shutdown, people like Russell Vote get extraordinary powers to restructure and defund the government. Entire agencies are going to go down. They are celebrating the idea of hundreds of thousands of innocent Americans losing their job. They can fire who they want and not even have to go through their spineless, useless Congress to do it. There is no check on their power. This is exactly what they wanted, because this was exactly the plan they wrote down. So if you are still supporting this wake up, the Republicans aren't negotiating with the Democrats because they don't want to negotiate. They didn't show up for work because they have no intention of governing. This isn't a government shutdown. It's a Republican-controlled purge. So stop blaming the Democrats for what the Republicans wrote down they were going to do in the very project they denied they were using, because they're already 57% through it. Line by line, they're destroying the country that you know. This isn't about being left or right. It is about stopping these lying monsters before they take everything from us. Listen, you can hate me. You don't have to agree with me. You have been taught your whole life to hate the Democrats, and you're being told now Democrats are demon monsters from hell. But you can still know that what I'm saying is true, and it will not end well for any of us if we allow it to continue.